Now, the classic Indian novel Devdas, published in 1917, was adapted to the big screen a number of times. Most recently, the 2002 Sanjay Leela Bhansali production, starring Shah Rukh Khan and Aishwarya Rai, premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. Devdas is a love story. It's about a young man, Devdas, who's in love with his childhood sweetheart Paro, but the pair are kept apart due to family pressures. He spirals into alcoholism and finds comfort in the arms of a courtesan, but his love for Paro continues. Now, the stage adaptation is taking the French capital by storm. Now, Devdas, the musical, made its debut at the Rex in Paris last week and runs through the 11th of May. To talk more about how audiences have been responding, we can bring in Bhavna Pani, actress and director of Devdas, the musical. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. What's the response been like so far?
It's been incredible. It feels almost like a rock concert by the end of the show because the audiences want to dance with you, they want to interact. And also, the show is constructed in a way where there's a lot of, we break the fourth wall and there's a lot of interaction with the audience. And I think the French audience really enjoys that. And it's an explosion of energy on stage, explosion of colors, explosion of movements. And I think the French audience really loves that.
But I see that you've taken Devdas the musical to places like Mauritius. Mauritius is familiar with Bollywood and the musicals, how India does things. France is not. How do you transcend that, break that barrier with the French audience?
You know, Devdas is a story that has the backdrop of Bengal. The Bengalis of India are like the French of the world. I always say that. Culturally very similar. They're in love with the finer things in life, poetry, dance, music. So
Being intellectual.
Extremely and opinionated and very passionate about everything. So the story is like that. And I think they connect to the story even if you don't know it. And the way also I'd like to believe that the way we invite people into the show, like from the opening act, I think they're ready to come on this journey with us. But I also believe that Devdas was a very popular film in France, and actually it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival with Shah Rukh and Aishwarya. So a lot of people, you'd be surprised, know about the film, know about the story. In fact, there's something funny I can share with you. Just when I'm about to enter on stage, there are about 50 people yelling from the audience, Chandramukhi, like they know I'm about to. So I was shocked, actually pleasantly shocked, to see how familiar they are with the whole idea, the story, the.
Let's talk about Chandramukhi, because you play Chandramukhi, who is this courtesan who becomes part of this love triangle between Devdas and Paro. Where did you get your inspiration from?
Oh, okay. Of course, from the book, because we researched it extensively. But of late, there have been so many films and series that are being made on courtesans of India. It's become a popular fact that the courtesans were not just there to please men. They were actually extremely influential and politically connected, very well-to-do, very rich, but still, this woman, although she's one of the most powerful women of Kolkata, she is, at the end of the day, a woman in love and therefore a vulnerable human.
You know how a place like India is. When the 2002 film came out, everyone was like, oh, the Bengali version is better. How do you, as a director, tend to drown out the noise?
Yeah, that's a great question because I was a bit intimidated by the idea of the comparison. And so right from the beginning, I avoided looking at the screenplay of the film or trying to take inspiration from either of. There are actually 3 films. Before the Bimal
Yeah.
Roy film, there has been another one, a black and white. I did not look at them. I did not read them, study them. In fact, after writing my script, I went back to those films and made sure that it isn't too similar, so that there are no comparisons drawn. And this is based primarily on the book. And yes, it is a tall order. I can't refute that.
Well, what are some of the challenges of acting and directing in a musical production like this?
Oh, yeah. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to. It was actually, it just so happened that I had to direct it. The circumstances were such. I had no ambitions of being a director ever. But theatre is something that I have thrived and enjoyed since I was a child. And it came very naturally to me, and I surprised myself. So it's not been easy. But before I was always playing Chandramukhi from the first version. This opened in India around in 2019, and then it had to shut down because of COVID. So the new version that came up, I had to direct. And so I was familiar with playing Chandramukhi because I was playing Chandramukhi in the previous version as well. So it was just a natural progression that I started to direct it.
Now, Devdas, the book came out in 1917. What do you think it is about this story that manages to stand the test of time?
Oh, it's a story about love, and love is the universal language. So, especially unrequited love. And that kind of, most film stories, musicals talk about happy endings. This one's a tragic one. And Romeo and Juliet goes to prove that the tragic love stories are always successful. Although this is, at the end of the day, a spectacle, a musical, and we've given it a spin. We don't make the audiences cry and go back home. They do dance and they do laugh with us before the show ends. But it is definitely the love story, the story per se, of how we make choices as human beings amidst all the darkness. You have a choice to choose hope. You can always make that choice, and Devdas doesn't, but you can. So that's the kind of lingering emotion we leave the audience with.
You said that you've been surprised by the audience reaction. What do you think it is about Devdas and the production that is resonating with audiences here in Paris?
Apart from the visual opulence, I think it is the story. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but it definitely is the pathos of this character of Devdas, who's suffering, who's in so much pain, who's heartbroken, and we've all been heartbroken.
Who's drinking himself silly.
Yeah.
What do you hope audiences take away from your telling of Devdas?
Yeah, I think they take back a lot of hope, because in these dark times that we live in also, we do have a choice to look at the positive side. And that's the message we're trying to leave the audiences with. And we see people going back dancing and smiling. So they definitely, I'd like to believe they go back with a lot of hope and happiness.
So you're putting on a show and you're giving people a good time and you're leaving them with a message of hope and happiness. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking to us about the production. And Devdas is on at the Rex until the 11th of May. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.